where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Marcus Dash here, and ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, this is the best time of the year. Our Chiefs may not be playing right now, but you got NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, even though my Sixers are unfortunately out, but still a lot of stuff to be bet on. BetOnline is your number one source for all your summer sports this season, from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoffs. All the latest stats, news, and scores are available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds, lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember, bet online where the game starts. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End on your Monday night. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason the Dungeon Dunn. How you doing, brother?
What's going on? What's up? What is up, baby? Monday night, starting a new week. Starting June. Yeah. June. Welcome June. June. All the June babies that we're going to have for birthdays and whatnot. We have quite a few in my family. If your birthday's in June, holler at us so we can give you a birthday shout out. Tell you happy birthday or whatever, man. We love to do it. But how's everything going, Marcus? What you doing, my brother?
Can't complain, man. So Saturday was Taja's birthday, so he's a June baby, June 1st. He went to Hawaii to celebrate with his wife. Saturday was also my nephew's graduation party. He's graduating from high school. And then yesterday was flag football playoffs, JD, and unfortunately, to tell you, we are the 8th time runner-ups in this league, so we lost again.
Oh man, don't say it ain't so, Marcus. Come on, say it ain't so.
Yeah.
See, man, look, you should have called me. I would have gave a pep talk to the team. We got y'all ready, got y'all amped up to get going, man. But run up, man. I mean, hats off to y'all. Shout out. Congratulations for that. But daggone, is it the same team? The ones that.
So there's two teams in the league that we had always had a hard time losing to, playing in the Super playoffs.
Yeah.
We beat one of them to get to the championship. So everyone on the team was happy that we finally, got that off our back, got that monkey off our back. Beating Globo Gym, we beat them 50-48. We scored a touchdown with 40 seconds left to take the lead to 50-48, and then we got to the championship. We were pretty gassed. I mean, I'm not saying it's an excuse. We got Rick rolled in the championship, man.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, was they that much better than you all?
Yeah, I mean, this team plays year-round, and they play, national, tournaments and stuff, and we just play in this one league, spring and summertime, so, I mean, yeah, it was 30-12 at halftime, and apparently it was the one of the refs came up to us after the game saying, hey, this is the first time I've seen the entire team come out for a game. They obviously take you guys seriously, and they wanted to make sure they had the dub wrapped up, so they brought and I'm telling you, JD, they're 25 guys deep on that team. You can only have 10 to 15 guys on your roster, but somehow they were letting them play with 25 guys on that team. So I don't think it would have made much difference, but yeah, during the regular season, we lost 28-26 to them, but they didn't have their full squad. They only had like 10 other guys, but yeah, but we got summer league to go in for, and quite frankly, being in second place, being perennial runner-ups, I'm okay with that, but yeah, nonetheless, yeah, another second place bow wrapped up for us.
Hey, that's all right, man. Look, hey, next year, you got it right here first.
Summer league, baby, summer league. So that starts.
Summer league. Okay, shoot, you might. Hey, JD might have to make an appearance, man.
I hope so.
I got a whole boatload of cleats over here. Okay,
that's good.
Get my stretches and stuff on. I'm ready to go, baby. Let's go. Let's ready to rock. Okay, I'll post up on a few guys that run some routes. Yeah, because I'm gonna clothesline some jokers out there. I'm telling you. Can you clothesline people?
You cannot clothesline people, but they allow full contact 5 yards, within 5 yards. So when you're running out for a route, yeah.
You meat hooks, baby. Put these meat hooks on them. It's over, Marcus. It's over. It's over. Oh, let's say what's up to everybody that's in the chat tonight. Stu, thanks. I managed to get out myself. Good. I know you can do it, my brother. Good to see y'all here. Harama Biff. What's up, Harama Biff? Traveling man. Okay. Maria, Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. What's up, my brother? Kathy, how you doing? Rob, Charles Driver. Let me see. Rob Miller, who out the Sandman. Good to see you, my guy. Vegas Chiefs Kingdom. I'm the Brown. Everybody. Ghost Hunter 1974. Good to see you, my brother. Lacey Snake. What's up, everybody? How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? Let me see. Cheaper, 65 points, 0.65 or 65 TPT. I guess, people had to tell me what all those things mean.
That's 65 toss power trap. The old Hank Strand play, 65 toss power trap.
65. Yeah. Toss power trap. Old school. That's old school right there now.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a play, too. That sucker worked.
It did. So with tonight's episode, I'm glad we got a lot of our usual peeps in the chat tonight. So with our episode tonight, we kind of mentioned it last Monday that we'd be doing a 3-episode series highlighting all the teams in our division on the next 3 weeks for our show. So tonight we'll be beginning with the Las Vegas Raiders. We feel with the teams that we play 2 times a year, it's good to get to know our opponent, JD. I mean, it's knowing the enemy, baby. Knowing the enemy.
Yeah, this is important. And I think we just get so saturated, so much Chiefs all the time that we never step outside of seeing what everybody else is doing. And so I checked a little bit off, as far as like NFL Network going through, the OTAs, seeing what everybody, how everybody looked, the new quarterbacks looking good throwing the football, and everybody, the wide receivers and whatnot. So this is always good to take a peek in to see what they got as compared to what we have on our squad. And not to mention, and I'm going to mention, not to mention, our team going to the White House, okay, enjoying their trip. Looked like they had a great time. And it looked like a wonderful occasion for the guys just to go up there and, man, just another trip, right? Another trip. We're going to look to go there next year. And so it was good. It was good. Travis didn't act up too bad. Of course, he made it fun. And President Biden was sitting there telling him, Travis, come up here. And I think he was kind of taken aback a little bit because I don't know if he thought he was going to get asked, but maybe it was like a little skit they was going to do, something real quick. But all the guys look sharp, man. All the dudes look sharp, look real mean up there. The trophy and all of that look beautiful. Look beautiful, man. Displaying it. I've said this, and I mean it. The Kansas City Chiefs is America's team. Okay, it is America's team. So people say Cowboys and all of that. Cowboys ain't been nowhere sniffing the championship for quite some time. But I want to regulate and say Kansas City, the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, KC is America's team. All right, baby. That's what it is. You hear it here first. JD says so. All right. So we know it's law.
Yeah, no, 100%. And also too, with the whole White House visit, I think I tweeted and the Biden video of him putting the helmet on, and like
I see that.
Whether you're right or on the left, it's like 15 years ago. I said to someone, it's like whatever your political status is, whether you're on the left or the right. 15 years ago, we would have done anything to have a president. It's an American president, whether it's right or left. Put on your helmet. Put on our team's helmet at the White House. I mean, that's stuff that will be in history books. I mean, regardless if you don't like Biden, whether you do like him, doesn't matter. The president of the United States put on our helmet. I don't think that's ever happened before with any president ever. So, like, that's a cool moment. And like, whether you are wherever you stand on the political aisle. That was pretty freaking awesome. I thought that was cool.
It was awesome. It was an awesome time. It was an awesome gesture. Forget everybody else talking all that silliness and whatnot. If people hated that, then you know what? Kick rocks. Whatever. It wouldn't even matter if it was Biden, it was Trump, or anybody who had done it. Hey, it was a great gesture. So, but it's always good to see the guys up there, man. They're as classy as ever. That's what I love because they go up there and they represent themselves the way that they should. But it's always something to see. It's always a great thing to see, man. And they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. So
Yeah, it was literally like I tweeted it, Commander in Chief. It was literally that was that. He had the Chiefs helmet on. I thought it was really cool. It was a really cool moment for all the players and all the Chiefs fan base to see that. So
yeah, I seen some of the comments on what you did. I retweeted it. And I seen some. I'm like, man, idiots. Like sometimes people can't just enjoy a moment. Just enjoy the moment for what it is, right?
I know.
Look, I get it. And so I'll say this. I remember when we was in River Falls. And so George Bush Jr. came up to River Falls to come visit. And Dick Mill came in. He was talking to us about, them coming up and how everything that they were doing. Like, we had to go talk to the Secret Service and how they were set up and, what we couldn't do, what we could do. Like it was extensive, like doing those things. And I remember, the time that he asked us, like, look, if anybody has any problems or issues of not going to the White House or going to meet, the president at this time, like you're excused not to do so, So it wasn't like you was forced to go. But guys, Joe decided to go or not. Now, look, I didn't like all of his policies. I didn't really agree with, the war at the time. I have a brother who was in the military, and so, my thing was, what? I'm still going to go. Okay. I'm still going to go. And the reason I wanted to go, not only that, but, there's a sense in air in the presidency that we should all respect. Okay. And like him or not, he's our guy. He's the one representing United States of America. And so, when I went there, I'm just like, hey, you know what? Hey, man, it'd be cool to go meet the president, see how everything operates and whatnot. And the crazy part was there was a moment when I'm there, me and him meet up. And we're talking. And he turns to look at me, and he looks up. He said, man, I sure hope you're on my side. And I started laughing. I'm like, I said, yeah, I got you, Mr. President. So it was a moment, and charismatic. Like I said, charismatic. Didn't like all his policies at all. Some of the things, but I'm gonna rock with him. If you're there to try to take care of the United States and the people here, like it's a hard job to do. That's the toughest job in the world, and so. People have their own thoughts about it, whatever they want to. But I like I said, I went, and so it was a cool moment at that time. So the Chiefs, the guys got to see that, and being in the White House and taking pictures and whatnot. I thought it was really a cool deal, man. I would have loved to went to the White House at the time. Anybody would. So and some guys maybe not, right? So.
Yeah, because the full team from last year wasn't there. There was guys missing for whatever reason. I don't know if political protest. Because that's the thing. I think I saw one of the comments on our tweet was, yeah, I think I'm done with it was a Chief fan. If you look at the guy's bio, Chief, all this stuff. He goes, yeah, I think I'm done rooting for the Chiefs. I think this is my last strike. It's like, wait, what? It's like that's you're done with the Chiefs because they went to go to the White House. And this is the thing too. The point I wanted to make, I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time because I'm not gonna try to convince someone to like the team, but. If Harrison Butker went last time and he went this time, he's been the most outspoken guy against that specific president over the last few years, and he was still there because it's pretty damn cool to be in the presence of the president, no matter who it is, and at the White House. So, like, if Butker's there, then you shouldn't have an issue with any of that.
Well, I'll say this, okay, and. I don't see no reason for him not to go. Shout out to him going, him having his views, him speaking his truth. My thing is, if this is your truth, you can speak truth to power, okay? This could be a time that you could go and you could have a conversation with the president about some of the things that you think, and you can espouse them the way that you want to. And if somebody who is a leader, a true leader, will try to listen, right? You can hear these things. And I said it's the same thing in the locker room. Like, anytime that you cut off conversations, then you've already lost. There's, like, to me, that shows maybe a lack of insight, maybe, patience, reverence, resolve that you don't have when you just don't want to have a conversation. And part of our problem is because we don't want to, piece these things out. When I was talking about some of those things like having nuanced conversations, like you talk, shoot, there might be a moment that you could sit there and talk and as two Catholics to talk to the other Catholic, right? And so that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it should be. So my thing was, I didn't think he wouldn't be there, but if he was, hey, good deal, whatever. So, but yeah, man, I just, my thing is, man, it's so tiresome. It is so it wears you out. This whole division that people try to keep drumming up all the time. I think Cowherd said some things that like, yo, man, like, look, sometimes people, use fear or whatever to cause division, to keep people away from each other, right? To me, like I said before, man, it's got to be love. If we all here living in this moment, and I'm gonna truly say this, because for me, the depth of it goes to while we're living life here together on this planet at this one time in moment, this is a time we should be trying to, lock arms with each other, try to be together, work through your differences. So we have so many voices that's trying to cause division, to cause strife, right? And so to me, that's the ridiculous part of it. Like, those are the ones that need to be called out. Like, hey, man, like, shoot, you don't see any type of commonality that we have? We always got to talk about the things on the fringe here, fringe there, and listen to all these crazy voices on the either side. So, all right, y'all, I'm going to get off my little talking point because I'll get into it, man. But my thing is, y'all know me, I'm all about heart, my love, but I'm sitting over here. I'm always going to speak truth to power, always. And so my thing is, I'm going to go to the heart of the issue with each of us. All of us should do that. Let's explore each other's hearts the way it's supposed to be. And so, like I said, the way I take care of me and my family, I want to be able to take care of you and your family, bottom line. So that's the way it's going to be.
We should be able to, as a Chiefs community, we should all be able to watch the White House presentation, regardless of who the president is, and enjoy it and not be upset by it or whatever, saying they don't want to be a Chief fan anymore because their team went to the White House. I mean, whatever. But yeah, so it was a cool moment, regardless of where you stand politically. And we see our girl Wendy's in here tonight. There you go, Wendy. I didn't see you earlier.
Yeah.
So with this episode, as we said, we're going to break down the Las Vegas Raiders, the last team in the AFC West to beat us last year. And as Andy Reid said, the team that really woke us up and made us have that Super Bowl run with us last year. So we're going to get into that right now, JD. Let's do it, baby. All right. Okay, so we're going to go starting off with our 2023 season for the Raiders. Obviously, 8-9. They were the second place team in our division, 4-2 in the division last year. Head-to-head with Kansas City. Week 12, Kansas City beat them 31-17 at Las Vegas, at Allegiant Stadium. Obviously, we all know that Mahomes is undefeated at that field, and again, won that game again in the Super Bowl at that same field. And then Week 16, of course, the Christmas to forget, where we lost to the Raiders 20-14, where we looked pretty abysmal in that game, but again, that's the game that woke us up. JD, now we'll get to their 2024 outlook, JD, but do you think that, obviously they have their coach full-time now, Antonio Pierce was an interim guy at this point. Do you think Antonio Pierce will, could they potentially be, no one's talking about them as a playoff team. I think right now Vegas has them as the third seed in 2024 behind the Chiefs and the Chargers, and they have them as the third team in the AFC West. Do you think they're going to take a kind of go backwards this year, or do you think there's a shot for this team to be a contending team to go to the playoffs?
Now, to be honest with you, when Antonio Pierce took over, I think they're actually going to move forward. They're going to be a much better team than they were last year, and I think a lot of it was because of his leadership. They were able to rally around him. But Antonio Pierce, we know he's a very, very capable head coach. Fierce competitor. He embodies everything what a Raider is, and the team buys into it. The players buy into it. And so they're going to be tough this year. And a lot of that is because they take an extra step. They re-upped, but also, too, they leveled up because of Antonio Pierce. So this is not the same team to be taken lightly, without no doubt. And so what they came in and they did to us, and we lost that game. Hey, man, they smell a little blood in the water. To them, the Chiefs flinched. And they knew if they got that one thing, and look, the Raiders have that about them, is that they beat the Chiefs. They have, without a doubt, accomplished something incredible. They have. And so they're going to be ready again this year. And I'm telling you, he's telling them right now that we're the best team in the division. That's how he feels. There's no reason for him not to feel that way. He's not scared of anybody. He's not backing up from anyone. He is saying to them, we beat them last year. We could beat them twice this year. Okay? And so, to them, it's all about, who they got on the board, right? We look at the people that they lost. We look at the people that they got. But they're going to be tough. They are going to be tough. We know that. We know that.
Yeah,
so,
Antonio, we talked about it a couple months back. Antonio Pierce on Maxx Crosby's podcast saying that they're going to institute the Jordan rules when it comes to playing Patrick Mahomes, making sure he feels every hit when they play him. And we saw how physical they were in that Christmas Day game. They were getting it to him.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's what they're trying to do, man. They know if they could disrupt those things, right? Patrick Mahomes is how he goes is how the Chiefs go. And if you could get him off his grass and you get him off his timing, disrupt everything about him, get him a little bit on edge and a little skittish, then you got an incredible chance to win, right? So it's always going through the quarterback. That's the way it is. The good thing is because we have a lot of different ones, Isaiah Pacheco, we got some firepower in the wide receivers. We know they got a good, capable wide receiver group over there, but Hollywood Brown,
Bryce
Worthy. We got Travis Kelce. We got guys we know is going to be ready to go. Like I said, we still don't know in the balance how Rashee Rice and all those things going to happen. But we got enough to go against them. We do. But them jokers are ready, man. Believe me, they are ready. So it's the same thing because one of the questions we had that was kind of our downfall was our left tackle situation. Okay. Did that improve or not? Wanye Morris has another year on him, but is it going to be a big guy from BYU? Is it going to be him? And so that is going to be a case because, look, Crosby is not, man, he is not a slouch. He's one of the best defensive ends in the league, and he absolutely comes in to wreck shop. And the thing is, we know it's going to be a task at hand against our offensive line, against their D-line. So it's one of the trenches, man. One of the trenches. So
Vegas Chiefs Kingdom, that game was the Raiders fans' Super Bowl. That's all they can brag about. And yes, in fact, Vegas Chiefs Kingdom, my older brother, one of my older brothers is a Raiders fan. On Christmas Day, came in here acting like they won the Super Bowl. And I sent him the link to our episode tonight, and he said, "Yep, you're only as good as your last division game," is what he said to me. So yeah, there you go. So the Raiders fans, they think they're better than the Chiefs because of that one game they won. So even though they split with us.
It was a split. But, I guess they kind of felt like they were all together toward the end. Like he was there, right? He was rooted in as the coach, as the head coach. And that changed. You seen everybody galvanized, get behind him. It was a whole different team, right? So I think some of the question is going to be who's throwing the football. That's going to be the question.
Yep.
So
we're going to go to some of their departures that they've had this past offseason. So, JD, when you look at some of the key losses that the Raiders have from their teams, the free agents and guys who left and guys they've cut, for our listeners, I'll just list them out here. So we got running back Josh Jacobs is gone. He was the NFL's leading rusher just 2 years ago. Defensive tackle Jerry Tillery, who they picked up from the Chargers, who actually was pretty solid for them. Tight end Austin Hooper, wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, who you're a big fan of. Guard tackle Jermaine Illuminor, offensive tackle Brandon Parker, defensive tackle Bilal Nichols, who actually had a touchdown against us in that Christmas Day game. Cornerback Mick Robertson, who had career highs in interceptions last year, now plays for the Detroit Lions. And obviously their quarterback situation, Jimmy Garoppolo and quarterback Brian Hoyer are now gone. Of the guys who are gone from their team, JD, who obviously stands out to you from the guys who are not returning?
I mean, huge one is Josh Jacobs, without a doubt. I mean, we know that just from what he's done in the past. You're one of the best running backs in the business. Just all-purpose yards, everything. So he's a weapon. But I think they feel like they had enough, especially what they're going to do. They might want to try to concentrate a little bit more on the wide receivers, throwing it to the guys out there they pay big money to, Jacoby Myers, you know what I'm saying, Devontae Adams. They got Gallup that's there, has gotten there. He hasn't really been doing too much, but he's a guy that could come in and get some plays. I think the Guyton is there, is another guy that they have. So you see Amik Robertson is another big kind of loss for him. He's a good corner, but he was enough to let him walk, man. Bilal Nichols, he's another guy. So those are the names to me. Jimmy Garoppolo, I tell you what, I was a Jimmy G fan when he first left New England. I was a big fan of Jimmy G. I was like, man, this dude deserves it. I thought he was going to be, and he got hurt, man. And when he hurt this ACL, and that was it. That tore him up. He hadn't been the same since. So, but yeah, I think that those are the names I see key losses that stand out to me.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with their running back situation because they have, what's his name? The running back from Georgia, Zaire
White? Is that White?
Yeah, Zamir White. Yeah.
He's a real deal. He's good.
And he was the starter in that game against us. I think Jacobs didn't play that game in the Christmas Day game where they won. They just pounded the ball with Zamir White that entire game. And I think someone just actually go forever, go for KC forever. Last year it didn't matter. He didn't complete a pass since the first quarter. They didn't complete a pass after that first quarter of that game. They still won that game. That was probably the most crazy stat of all. When after the game was over and they talked about it, I'm like, my gosh, that's crazy. I remember we had the post game show and that was something we kept repeating. It was like there's no excuse to lose to a team that didn't complete a pass after the first quarter of the game. And we were talking about the running game, not being able to stop the run would be a detriment to us going forward as a potential thing, especially we had to play at Baltimore Ravens, which it was looking like we were going to play them. And obviously, everything worked out like it did. But that was the crazy thing of that game, JD.
Yeah. But now, who you going to have? You got Gardner Minshew. You got O'Connell, right? So those are the guys. Are you going to trust everything with those guys? I think Aiden O'Connell's a good quarterback, Big, tall, lanky kind of kid. He can throw the football. You protect him. He can throw. He can do some damage. They got Matheson there. Matheson came right as running back, so they're gonna have some guys. Okay, Zamir White is another dude. So there ain't no slouch on offense. No. The Raiders gonna be ready. We cannot sleep on any of these guys, and especially those dudes right there. Okay, like I said. That little bite, takes a little blood in the water. That's what they wanted. So
I do think that Raiders-Chiefs game on Christmas Day kind of opened the door for them to say that, you know what, we don't need to pay Josh Jacobs. Remember, they had the whole thing last year where they didn't want to pay him.
Right.
And that was coming off like an amazing season, career best for him in the NFL league in rushing yards. That game happens. They see what they can do with Zamir White. Like, okay, we have a guy, obviously, and we can kind of let Jacobs test the market and ride the wave with Zamir White. And Jacobs, they didn't have to pay him. And Green Bay forked up a good amount for him.
Yeah. But look, hey man, shoot, Zamir White he's a real dude. He's a good running back, and he's cheaper. And he's cheaper.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to. So, you
can get comparable production on a cheaper contract than NFL teams are going to love you.
Yeah.
All right, so you kind of mentioned some of the additions. So, obviously, we talked about their losses. These are the additions that the Raiders have brought in. So, they were a team that everyone was saying, watch, the Raiders going to go for Chris Jones. They're going to offer him the full amount they can offer him. They obviously didn't do that, so they went with the second best defensive tackle in the free agency, which is Christian Wilkins from Miami. They took him away, gave him a good haul of money too. Then Gardner Minshew, as JD mentioned, they brought him in on a pretty decent contract, decent sized contract. Then they brought in Alexander Madison, running back from Minnesota, And then tight end Hunter Bryant, wide receiver Jalen Guyton, wide receiver Michael Gallup, offensive guard from the Saints, Andrews Pete, who we were actually rumored to get him a few years back, but then New Orleans ended up keeping him. I gave him like a three or 4 year deal worth $54 million. And then they brought in guard center Cody Whitehair from Chicago. He follows Luke Getsy, who's their new OC from Chicago, to Las Vegas. And of course, they drafted Brock Bowers, a notable guy they drafted. A guy that JD really wanted, but now that gives them 2 tight ends in Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers on the offense. JD, what stands out to you when you look at the additions, the new guy, the new faces for Raider Nation?
What stands out is I believe they re-up. They got Christian Wilkins, which was a huge signing for them. They're going to bring pressure. That's what they're trying to do, man. They're trying to stop the run, to stop the pass, and you get pressure, bust pipes. And so for them, that's what they're trying to do. They got a running back, like you said, comparable. Matheson is here, and they got Zamir White, so they're good at running back. Tight ends, Brock Bowers. I mean, and my guy from the dude from
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah, Myers, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Michael Myers.
So they got guys around them, man. They got Jalen Guyton, guy that got in. Michael Gallup's going to be that guy to get the third part of it. They got receivers. So getting Cody Whitehair and Andreas Pete. So they're going to protect O'Connell. They're going to protect him. They got good in right positions. That's why I look at it. And so you're going to see their offense change up a little bit. Man. I can't wait to see Brock Bowers play. I don't care who he's playing. But what stands out to me is they were just like, look, let's re-up in the right positions that we need to re-up in. What we're trying to attack, who we're trying to beat. So obviously the people that you get, you try to beat the Chiefs. Okay. That's the way I look at it. If we are the pinnacle, we are the standard, okay, we're the barometer. You got to get a better team than what you think you perceive the Chiefs are. So I think that's what they try to do. So,
yeah, and you look at their receiver room, the Guyton and Gallup, great additions to what was already Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, and you're adding Gallup, solid receiver, Jalen Guyton, who proved he could do some things in with the Chargers. Bowers and Meyer. I mean, JD, a guy who loves tight ends. That's a very young and very talented tight end room between Bowers and Meyer. Obviously, we're basing off Bowers, what he did in college, and and that hopefully that can transfer over to the league for his sake. But if that does transfer over, you got Meyer and Bowers. Meyer, who was a top 2 tight end last year. Everyone was saying it was arguable between him and Knox. And then Zamir White and Madison. That's a pretty solid solid group of weapons. And you have a battle between Minshew and O'Connell. A lot of the experts think that Minshew is going to be the one to win the quarterback competition. They're saying it's competition, but they think Minshew's going to come out. And I got to say, Minshew is a guy who's been around the league. Minshew, for me, in my opinion, I never thought he was. I think he's a solid starting quarterback. I don't think he's upper echelon by any means. I think he's a solid quarterback.
Solid
guy. A guy who can run the system that's presented to him. So I think, Minshew. He had the Colts that close to the playoffs last year. I think he missed on a swing pass against the Texans in that game, and they would have had him right there. So there's Mitchell's a solid quarterback. I think definitely. I think he's a step up from O'Connell. Obviously, O'Connell has 1 year under his belt. I think it's definitely a step up from the quarterback play they've had in the last few years, and that includes Derek Carr. Because I was never a really big Derek Carr fan. I think he's on par with the Derek Carr type of guy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I like Minshew a lot comparatively to Derek Carr. I'm not a big Derek Carr fan.
Oh wow, okay. I completely disagree with that. completely. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback. I think he's a solid quarterback. He is maybe a 1B.
Okay.
He should be behind a starter. If you got a real guy in there, Gardner Minshew's riding the bench. I'm sorry. That's what I believe. So I think he's a solid guy.
He's definitely he's a bridge quarterback. He's a bridge quarterback. You bring him in for one. You bring him in this year, And then wherever they fall, you draft a quarterback next year, and that's your, because I think they signed him to a 3-year deal. So you have him there. He can kind of what they brought him in Indianapolis for. They brought him in there to kind of, because the OC from Philly went to Indianapolis, took Minshew with him, and they kind of helped. He was kind of helped mentor for Anthony Richardson and kind of teach him that offense there. And he ended up taking over when Richardson got hurt last year. He's a veteran quarterback. I think he's a stopgap kind of bridge quarterback to their next guy. I don't know if they have the next guy on the roster. They wanted Penix, but obviously we all know Falcons went for Penix, so that was the rumor there.
I tell you what, man, I hear you. And they believe Gardner Minshew is going to be their starter. That's fine. I like the young gunslinger in O'Connell. To me, look, and if let them, duke it out. Let it be a competition. Let them see. I just think with O'Connell, what he showed me, there's flashes of some. He can throw the football. He can make some really good throws. And maybe because I didn't see all the games that they played, the ones that I did see him play, he played pretty well. Gardner Minshew, he's a good quarterback. I'm not taking anything away from him. Is he a guy, like you said, is he the bridge quarterback, but getting O'Connell right? Is it like, okay, he still needs development for this? The thing is, they got some good coaches on the roster that would help get this situation put together. I seen where they had Marvin Lewis is there, assistant head coach. Yeah. So I'm telling you, Antonio Pierce is trying to get this thing going, man. He's trying to get this, and he knows the Chiefs are the one we got to go through. They know that. So Ghost Hunter 19 said, well, I wouldn't necessarily count a gunslinger. I like his arm. I think he throws the ball well. I think he's made some really good throws. This is just me. So when I say gunslinger, that's his game. His game is throwing the football. It ain't gonna be anything else that you're gonna get. Gardner Minshew he's one of those guys that's he'll do whatever it takes to try to win, right? He'll run and gallop for a couple yards to try to get, that's what he reminds me of. So yeah, okay. Hey, Minshew is better than Kyle. He may be. Hey, that's your opinion. My opinion is I've seen Gardner Minshew since he's been in the league, and he probably need to be riding the pine. Okay.
I will say he has obviously one year sample size for O'Connell. We've seen Minshew a little bit. He's a little older, so than O'Connell. So we've seen him around the block a little bit. He's produced in Jacksonville. I think I read his first 2 years. There's a stat that a lot of Raider fans have been putting around there because they're not trying to upplay their guy who's potentially going to be their quarterback this year. But Minshew his first 2 seasons as a starter in Jacksonville versus Trevor Lawrence's first 3 seasons as a starter. Minshew more touchdowns, 59-58, less interceptions, 24-39, passer rating 90.2 to Trevor Lawrence's 85. And he's got 300 less pass attempts and 1 less game played than Trevor Lawrence. So
the context of it. So let me go. I'm going to go look at all those stats. And what does that mean? What does that get you?
I mean, that I guess that Trevor Lawrence is seen as this up and coming guy, whereas Minshew was thrown to the side when they had the number 1 pick. It was like, oh no, this is gonna be our guy. We're going for Trevor Lawrence all the way in. And like you look really at the numbers they've had, pretty even, slightly edging to Minshew. But I guess it's all around the representation, how you kind of look at it. It's where like, this guy was number 1 pick. Minshew was like I don't know, a 6th round pick, 7th round pick, and I don't know. I would say Minshew. And I don't disagree with you, JD. I think Mitchell's a solid quarterback. I think he's more of a backup than he's a starter. But I think for a 1 year or 2 year fix, it's not a bad quarterback to have. And I do think he's more on par with the Derek Carr. I've never been that big of a fan of Derek Carr. I just think he had 10.
No, so are they saying that Minshew he's better than Sunshine? Is he better than Trevor Lawrence? Is this the argument? I mean, honestly, let's get to the heart of it. Is this what the argument is? That Gardner Minshew was better than Trevor Lawrence. Now, he might be better than O'Connell. I get that. I'm just saying O'Connell's a young guy, right? He could be much better. But is he better than Trevor Lawrence? Is this what they're trying to do? Or they just use the stats to,
I think it's Raiders fans, and there's some Jacksonville fans who do. If you look at a lot of these, like these message boards and these Twitter threads, a lot of Jacksonville fans do miss Minshew. I don't know if it's because of the mustache and Minshew mania, and they really like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that the gimmick aspect of it definitely helps Minshew in that respect.
No question.
And his name too. But then, yeah, I think that when people look at the numbers, that's what's like we see. He was actually better than Trevor Lawrence. And we got this guy 3 years, whatever the contract is, trying to rationalize who's potentially going to be the starting quarterback. Obviously, they'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Minshew. I don't think it's a discussion there based on arm strength and a lot of different elements to the games they have. But yeah, nonetheless, yeah. Do you think that would you prefer Derek Carr to Gardner Minshew if you were starting a franchise?
Yeah. I think Derek Carr just kind of got short end of the stick. Gruden didn't like him. I don't think that what he wanted to do with him really worked out for Carr. Devontae Adams, he was sitting there thinking like, man, he could tell, like, wasn't the same guy. Gruden tried to mold him into this mindset of who he was, and that's not who Carr was. And I think that really destroyed him a little bit. I think he had an identity crisis because he had to deal with John Gruden. I say that because I played under John Gruden. I know who John Gruden is as a coach. So he's very demanding. He has a particular way that he does things. So I'll say it that way. Okay, I don't want to say really too many disparaging things against.
Right.
But that's just a demand of it. And quarterbacks, he's without a doubt going to be on top of all the time. So,
but they did have somewhat of a rapport because when he gets traded to the Saints last year, they end up hiring Gruden as a consultant with the Saints. So, I mean, whether it was too much information, he was trying to mold him to be Gruden's guy. They obviously developed some kind of rapport with each other for the fact they trade for Carr and then they end up they signed Carr that big contract, and then they end up bringing in Gruden as a consultant because I think they wanted to run the similar offense that he was running in Las Vegas with Gruden. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the stats of Gardner Minshew throwing 9,937 yards with Trevor Lawrence 3 years for 11,770 yards.
Oh, Jay, the numbers that I said were skewed. It was Gardner Minshew's first 2 seasons as a starter versus Trevor Lawrence's 3 seasons as a starter. He was only looking at that through a scope of 2 seasons to 3. See, that's what you always talk about. People pick and choose numbers to fit their narrative.
Yeah, sure. All right, enough of these guys. Okay, who we got next?
Well, I just want to. So Del Monte Green Beans, what type of offense do they run? So they just brought in Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy comes from the Matt LaFleur coaching tree, which comes from the McVay coaching tree. So it's that kind of outside zone type of scheme offense. So it's the Kyle Shanahan and McVay tree. So that's
yeah. So open it up. You should probably have with Brock Bowers might be that third guy. So I was going to say probably 12 personnel for sure. If because you're going to utilize him as a slot guy. Shoot, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you do it? But I think that to me, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to stretch the field, and they're going to find holes and be very creative on ways doing it. So we know that tree is brilliant. They do a lot to attack defenses. But they make you cover every blade of grass out there. And it's not going to be any different this year with them. So,
with that offense, do you think that? I know you're a big fantasy guy, and I know there's a lot of people in our chat who are big fantasy people. Do you think Brock Bowers could be a viable fantasy tight end, getting him mid to late in a draft?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Shoot, I'm gonna pick him up. So I don't know if I'm gonna tell you anything. If that sucker's around, I'm gonna pick him up though. This is JD. This is me. So,
well, I mean, you are a tight end expert. If you're a fan of a guy, I want that guy. So I'm not going to be telling my friends what the resident tight end JD is saying about fantasy tight ends this year.
Yeah, I like Sandman says Minshew looks more like Stabler, so he will start. Yeah.
Hey, the Raiders do like their tradition, so they may stick with the. And of course, Antonio Pierce is a Raiders fan, so definitely going through his head. I'm sure. I'm sure that's not going to be the overriding reason behind it. So going to the 2024 season, so as I mentioned earlier, the Raiders are they have missed the third. Vegas has missed the third highest seed in the AFC West. Chiefs being number 1, Chargers number 2, Raiders 3, and Broncos 4. The Vegas line for the Raiders is over under wins is 6.5, which would be less than last year. Yeah. Well,
Wow.
yeah. And the Broncos are 5.5, and I believe they have the Chargers at 8.5. So they think Chargers are going to be over 500. They think the Raiders are going to be slightly below 500, and then Broncos a couple games below 500. And then, yeah, obviously the Chiefs, I think we have them at S11.5 right now. But JD, we talked about it earlier. You think the Raiders are going to be contending for a wild card spot? You think over this number though, 6.5?
Oh, definitely over 6.5. Come on, this is Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure. Let me look at their schedule, man. I got it now. They got to look at their schedule because I just that's disrespectful.
I have a schedule up right here. Do you want me to read it off, JD?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I just pulled it up.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. So they got the Chargers. Okay, I think they beat the Chargers. They got Baltimore. They lose to them. Beat Carolina. Cleveland Browns. They might beat Cleveland. They'll beat Denver. Pittsburgh Steelers be a hard one. They may get them. Rams. They'll beat the Rams. Lose to the Chiefs. They might mess around, beat Cincinnati. Probably lose to the Dolphins, beat the Broncos again, lose to the Chiefs, beat Tampa Bay, beat Atlanta, lose to Jacksonville, beat New Orleans, and beat the Chargers. So
you have like a 9 or 10 win team, JD.
I do. I think they'll have at least 9 wins. I do.
Damn.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I definitely think it's viable for a last playoff spot as a wild card spot.
It may as well be. I think they will. Because I'm looking at the ones, the Pittsburgh one's going to be tough. They beat Cleveland. They'll definitely have a opportunity. Pittsburgh, they beat Pittsburgh and Cleveland, for sure. But I definitely believe they'll have at least 9 wins. With the staff that they got and the guys they got on offense and defense and who they have, Antonio Pierce, mark my words, they'll have at least 9 wins this year.
So you're really buying into the fact that a lot of people are saying this, not just you, but a lot of people are saying that the players have fully bought into Antonio Pierce, and like that's like not only they respect him and what he's done in his NFL career, but it's more like a peer kind of player coach kind of aspect as he's kind of bringing in that like where like you respond to him because you want to win for him because you kind of have respect for him, but they also see him as a kind of a peer. And obviously the guys he's brought in, the Marvin Lewis's of the world, and other guys they bring into that team. Let me say their assistant staff. But you're buying into the fact that these guys are gonna be playing for Antonio Pierce. He's gonna kind of ignite something out of them they haven't had in a long time.
Man, they look. I'm looking at their staff too. Man, they had one hell of a staff put together. And when I'm telling you, guys embodied, like you said, the coach. They want to win for guys, especially guys who's played before. And Antonio Pierce fought for them. They understand what he gives to the team. He gives it all. They, without a doubt, will go and run through a brick wall for Antonio Pierce. Period. Bottom line. Week in and week out. Because Antonio Pierce understands the dynamics of playing in the NFL. He understands that. He knows what it means. He knows like the dedication, the hard work guys put in, and he reward them for it. But also too, they reward him as well. And so it's almost like when you have one heck of a general, okay, and guys just have a little bit more affinity for him than they do somebody else. Antonio Pierce is that guy. When Crosby sit there and said, "I don't know if I'm gonna be here if Antonio Pierce is not here," he was serious. And because they was able to get something out of Antonio Pierce, they weren't able to get out of the other guy. And so it meant something. Now they have stability. Now they have somebody in there who wants to win, who understands everything it means to be out on the field, and to give it its all. Not to mention you got Marvin Lewis and all those other guys right there by it. You got some guys that played in the league before. I played with Mike Cotto, in Philly. Mike's a great guy. These jokers are ready, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna be a tough team to beat. So this 6.5, I'll go against that all day. I'll take that bet. Shoot.
I also love, talk about some of the guys in their staff. Andre Carter, pass rush specialist. Everyone knows. Everyone who, all the fans out there, you guys should know Andre Carter. Ricky Manning Jr., cornerbacks coach. Carnell Cadillac Williams, the running backs coach. Come on, this is
Cadillac Williams
is a running backs coach.
Oh man.
As an NFL fan, because a lot of guys who are playing, they grew up watching these guys. So to see in the DC area, we had the Art Monk football camp, and a lot of former Commanders or Redskins players would come and coach. And it was always like, man, oh my gosh, Charles Mann, Art Monk, Darryl Green, all those guys. That's like a youth camp for these guys, but these are actually their coaches. You got all these NFL these guys who around them. That's awesome. Andre Carr, pass rush specialist.
Rob Ryan from. Yeah, Rob Ryan is there. Shoot.
Wow, they brought Rob Ryan back. Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Hey, man.
Patrick Graham, defense coordinator.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of NFL experience in one room. You could speak to how big of a deal that is to have so much NFL experience.
Huge experience with these guys, and they're gonna make sure guys are not sleeping. Nobody's gonna be comfortable in that room. Believe me, you got good enough coaches in there to make sure these guys are not gonna be comfortable. They ain't gonna let you just get away with a whole lot because it's not gonna happen. So they're gonna hold each other accountable, just like when you was playing, you gonna hold guys accountable. I'm not talking to you some guy because I'm a pencil pusher out here. I actually went out there and I did it. I busted my tail. I hit my head and, I know what it feels to be, to do these things. So you can't use that on me. Hey, coach, I ain't got it. No, I want to hear that. And so for me, when we were playing in Kansas City, we had Irv, Charlie, Big Daddy. Trying to think of other guys that we had, man, the guys that just played. Tim Crumrod. We had guys that played that were tough guys back in the day. You seen them like, oh my gosh, but they weren't gonna let you just slide. What's gonna happen? And so guys understand that. Guys do understand that, man. There's a special bond there, but it's still the brotherhood. Still a brotherhood there. So I can speak your language. We could talk about things off the field. I'm gonna kick it to you real, right? They ain't gonna coaching, no, I don't want to hear none of that. Go to bed. Get in bed. Leave her alone. Leave him alone. You know what you need to do. Come on, man. Now that might be, come on, Rook. That's that conversation. But having somebody who got that in there. So that's the way I look at it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is not your Carson Palmer Raiders anymore, where you can just pencil in the W next to the Raiders. JD's saying that this is a team we got to keep a close eye on.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Better.
Damn. Yeah, it's interesting because we'll get to Chargers next week, but a lot of people are kind of writing off the Raiders, and I think it is a mistake based on the way they played for Antonio Pierce at the end of the year, where they played against us at Kansas City on Christmas. I think it's kind of silly for people to be writing off the Raiders as the one of the bottom feeders in the AFC West, and then giving the Chargers that edge just because they have Harbaugh, great coach. But we're looking at that coaching room of the Raiders. That's nothing to be messing around with.
No, no, and I like Harbaugh. He's one heck of a coach, but don't sleep on the Raiders at all. I'm telling you. So, like I said, they got a little bit of that confidence by beating, the Chiefs. So we can say it was a fluke or whatever. You can use whatever. It's football, and it's NFL football. Ain't no more victories. Them guys ain't looking for that. They trying to win, and they won. Split. So They're gonna try and win 2 this year. So that's where we at. That's where we at. What's up, Gary Holland? I see Gary done dropped in the room. What's up, my man? DeMonte Green Beans, know thy opponent. Yes, absolutely. Stewart said they won't beat Tampa Bay.
Stu's on the Baker train.
Yeah. He's saying that because he lives down there. He's a Philly guy. Stu, you a Philadelphia Eagle guy, Stu. Malibu, Stu.
I don't know. After the beating that Baker gave them in that first round of the playoffs, JD, he might be a Tampa guy now.
So when he said we planted a flag in their field, they're pissed. Man, we said that, that's Arrowhead West, So they're not going to take that lightly, man. And Wendy, they will use that. They will use that. Okay. Any little thing to motivate them. Anything.
And that's something that Pierce, as a coach, to know that since they opened up this stadium, the Raiders have not won a game against Kansas City at that Vegas field. That's going to be something he's been harping on, and that's something he can, as far as a legacy thing, the first Raiders win against the Chiefs, the all-world Chiefs in Las Vegas, you can get that win this year for the first time in that Week 8 game. Tell
you what, man, I'd make sure they get a picture of the Chiefs in, planting the field, planting the flag in the field. Boy, I'd be in the meeting. Man, just look at it. Look at it. Look what they did here. They believe in stay home. Look how they talking. You gonna stand for that? You think we're gonna let that happen again? That is our live and breathe. I'm telling you, Marcus, you should have had me. Should have called me, man. God damn, I would have had y'all ready. I would have had y'all ready. So I'm gonna be easy on here, but y'all, man.
Yeah, that was MVS. That person is currently not on the Chiefs anymore, so they can use it all they want. He's not on the team anymore.
MVS, it's like I'm leaving. I'm out of here. So y'all deal with it. Doo-doo.
I gotta say, JD, I'm thinking about your going through their schedule. I'm 9 to 10 wins for the Raiders.
Absolutely, 9 at least 9. They're gonna have 9 wins. You heard it here first, JD.
So it's interesting to me because you said Browns. When you looked over the Browns, you're like Browns will win that game. But the Pittsburgh game, that's one that you're kind of. So I feel like Cleveland will be a better team than Pittsburgh this year with the quarterback carousel they're about to have themselves in. They're already talking about doing a dual quarterback thing throughout the season. And whenever I hear a team talks about doing a dual quarterback, that's I'm selling.
I get it. Pittsburgh, to me, and the only reason is because their defense is still going to be. I think Pittsburgh had a better defense than Cleveland. Okay, we know who Cleveland has, and then offensively, who you got. You got Coop on the outside. You kind of stop the run game. You can come after Watson. That's what you got to be able to do. So I'm looking at just as far as who they have on the defensive line, who you're going against. So, and the only reason I'm saying that Pittsburgh is, Cleveland, Denver, and then Pittsburgh. So the Cleveland and Denver game is going to be tough ones. They got to beat those two. Then they got to go. Then they got Pittsburgh. Shoot. I'm not saying they can't beat them. They might beat Pittsburgh. So we're almost talking, Marcus. We're almost talking 10 wins there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, shoot. I'm looking at it right here, man. I better go through this again, but I'm 6.6.5 wins. Come on.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty. It was pretty insulting. I thought it was pretty low.
Very insulting. Very insulting.
Because if you think about it, they 8 last year with the quarterback coach who was fired midseason. They bounced around the quarterback situation between Jimmy G, Brian Hoyer, and then Aiden O'Connell, and they still managed to get 8 wins out of that, out of kind of a team in turmoil all season. I mean, Michael Meyer was said a couple weeks ago that he was contemplating not wanting to go to work. And this is a rookie saying that. That's how bad it was in that Josh McDaniels locker room, and that he didn't want to come to work anymore, he said. And that's a rookie saying that. So that's how bad it got, and they still managed to rally to get off 8 wins. So it's like, I think 6.5 over is easy. I don't know 10 wins, but
they're gonna get 9.
the fact that you're praising the Raiders the way you are, I think I will be buying the Raiders this year because I trust your opinion on a lot of the things we talk about. The fact that you look at that coaching staff, and you also see this too. Look what the Lions did with a similar type of going for former players to be your kind of your position coaches, which not a lot of teams don't do that for whatever reason. I don't know why. They usually get someone's son or someone's brother to be a coach of something, but they literally went through a bunch of guys who have played at a high level, and those are their positional coaches, and that's something that we all have to kind of look at and be like, this might be something. And the Lions did it. We took them to the NFC Championship game.
But come on, man! I'm telling you, it's a whole different element there when you have that, when you have those conversations with guys who play the game. So I know this off of experience. I know this when we had guys that played in the locker room, their conversation was a little bit different. They had a little bit more raw to them. They had a little bit more, I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to check your heart. I'm going to see exactly who you are. And it ain't no fun and games here. It ain't no playtime. We don't care who you are. You ain't did nothing yet. And so it ain't like, we got a young guy come in who's, thinking he's, the big crock of the town. Okay, I'll tell you what. You got to show me first. You ain't did nothing in the NFL. I don't mean nothing. So, and they got some guys, man, that's going to ball. They got some guys that's going to be able to ball, man. So, I the 6.5, man, I don't know what they were thinking, what they're looking at, but the totality of the team, they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready. So, watch out for them. I'm going to put it that way. Okay. Broncos, yeah, we'll smack him. Same thing with the Chargers. We're gonna smack them. Raiders, they're gonna come after us. That's our rival. We know. It's gonna be blood out there, man. Man, we're gonna be duking it out. It's gonna be a heavyweight bout every single time. I'm telling you, they're gonna be hyped for this game. Both those games, they're gonna be hyped for it. So,
I gotta say, as a lifelong Chiefs fan, as a fan who has a brother who's a Raiders fan, to have Chiefs Raiders games means something again. Obviously, yeah. I hope we win, but the fact that they can actually mean something again, potential playoffs on the line for the Raiders, just having them be in games and not have to be whooping them 56-10 in the first half of games, having fourth and 50 like we did when they had Terrell Pryor as their quarterback, like to have them. These games be meaningful again. That's a special thing it's good for the NFL. Obviously, good for the AFC West, but great for the NFL to have the Raiders kind of relevant again. I would say.
Yeah. Oh, no question. No question. So, who's Ghost Hunter 1974? Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. Order of finish in AFC West this year. I believe it. I see that too. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. Yeah, that Broncos Chargers, I think, is going to be, you just never know. You don't know. They got a lot of work to do down there too. Got some new faces. Get those guys going. So,
yeah. Well, I will talk about the Chargers next year, but I can see them being a 6-win. I know everyone's buying them because they're horrible right now, but I can see them being like a 6-win team. But one of those teams that every game they lost, it's a one possession game. They're right there. Because they got rid of a lot of guys this year to try to restructure and to kind of work out the cap situation they had, and they got rid of a lot of guys in the process of that. And I they have Herbert, Harbaugh, but I think it's going to be a big time adjustment for those guys over there. But I think it's going to be a lot of close losses for the Chargers this upcoming season. In 2 years, 3 years maybe, them vying for the second spot in the AFC West.
Yeah, I'm seeing your boy Newt Rockney talking about great name. Your boy LRZ, Marcus. He said, man, he can kick wingers right and left. There are YouTube clips. So he said wingers are like, what do you say? Like DBs, wide receivers, a punt return. Okay. Still got to get that skill set down. He still got to get the skill set, catching the football, running with it, the right way, the 5-point on the football, all those different things.
Yeah, I think after we had our show on Friday, Tube talked about not only using Justin Reed, but using LRC, which is a topic we also had on the show, using LRC at kickoffs because he can tackle and he can kick as well. So they're looking at a bunch of different things there with the kickoff, trying to be strategic with it and creative this year. So
yeah, it'd be good. LRC he can kick and he also be a gunner. Yeah, shoot. These guys are a little bit more shiftier than they are in rugby, Newt. So it ain't gonna be like, you know, some of these guys that you see out there. These jokers can make you miss.
they have him. I think Tube also said they have LRZ getting first team reps as a kick return right now to just get him the most amount of reps as possible.
Yeah, but get him out there. Shoot, get him out there.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I want to see him in pads doing this stuff because right now, it's very easy to catch a ball with no pads on, just a tight jersey on. Get those pads on, get things bumping up a little bit. We can see the real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, Vegas Chiefs. Keenum said the Chargers have a better quarterback, but they lost too many good players. They did. Yeah. I think it's just going to take them a little while to get all of put in order. Keenan Allen, those guys, man, you start losing guys like that.
You're talking about their whole offense too. I know Herbert, Eckler, and Keenan Allen. Those guys made it for like 75% of the offense.
Right.
And then they throw Mike Williams.
Gerald Everett. They lost Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
Right?
Where'd he go again? Did he go to,
Was it where'd he go? Was it Chicago?
Yeah, he's in Chicago. Him and Keenan Allen are both in Chicago. Yeah. Chicago's gonna be fun to watch this year.
I'm gonna be fun to watch too, man. Yeah. It might take them a while to put it all together, but they're gonna be a little dangerous. It all depends on how that dude is gonna look. You know, the whole Patrick Mahomes clone, I guess he is. So people talking. Yeah, right. No.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, everybody. Well, that does it for us for our Monday morning tight end show, highlighting the Las Vegas Raiders. JD has high hopes for the Raiders this year. We'll see if they get over that 6.5 wins. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see the renewed rivalry with Chiefs and Raiders again. But we hope you all enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you guys Wednesday for our midweek show.
Yeah, Kathy, Wendy, Lacey Snake, New Rockney, Vegas Chiefs Kingdom, Haram Abiff, the Traveler. Lacey Snake, who else? There's two who was in here. I said Wendy, John Clifford, Go Forever KC, Charles Driver, I'm the Brown, if you're still in here, Gary Holland, Rob Miller, DeMonte Green Beans, Stu, if you're still in here, my brother, good seeing you. Everybody else, man, love y'all. Appreciate y'all coming out, checking us out tonight. Good conversation like always. We get in here, talk about it a little bit. But hey, we will see y'all on Wednesday. And so, yeah, y'all have a good night. Marks, my brother, love y'all. Hey,
love you, brother.
Hey, out here, Chiefs Concern community, love you all. Y'all know I love you. Straight from JD, baby. All right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good night.
Sir. Good night, everybody. Love you, man.
Right. Love you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.